There is a point in life where silence becomes heavier than the pain itself. When you're not breaking down, you're just breaking quietly, and nobody even notices. When you've carried your emotions for so long that you start believing that act of pretending is real strength, where you smile, you joke, you move through your day like nothing is wrong, and yet inside everything feels fractured, feels heavy. We tell ourselves we need to be strong. We tell ourselves we need to handle everything alone. We tell ourselves our feelings are inconvenient or unnecessary, that they'll make things worse. So we hide them, we push them down, we pretend they aren't there. But the truth is, no matter how much life you try to live, you can't hide from the way you feel. Because you can distract yourself with work, with the gym, with friends, doom scrolling, with school, with anything, just anything that keeps your mind busy. But eventually, the feelings catch up. Eventually, that weight comes crashing down. Eventually, the pain reminds you it was never meant to be ignored. And that's the part about pretending to be okay. It works for a while, but even for months, maybe years, it depends how strong you are. But one day, that act starts to fail. The cracks appear, the exhaustions show. People notice that you were more angrier, more exhausted than usual. And you realize the strongest thing you can do isn't to hold it all in, it's to let it all out. And there's a scene in Naruto that really captures this. Spoilers if you haven't watched Naruto yet, but spoiler warning. There's this character, Shikamaru. He's one of the most calmest, most composed characters you know in the series. And he is forced to deal with a loss that crushes him. He tries very strong to stay very strong, tries to stay in control, tries to be the person everybody expects him to be. But deep down, he's breaking. He feels helpless, angry, and overwhelmed. But he refuses to show it. Then his father, Shikaku, sits beside him and says something so simple yet so profound. Let it all out. Let all your frustration and rage. Just let it all out. And in that moment, Shikamaru cries. He screams. He releases all the emotions he's been holding inside. Emotions he didn't even realize he had. Or emotions he didn't even realize were suffocating him. Not because crying is weakness, not because he's falling apart, or not because falling apart is failure, but because it's human, and he's human. And that scene taught me something I think everybody needs to hear. Pretending you're okay does not make you strong. It doesn't. Hiding your feeling doesn't protect you from pain. It traps you in it. Bottling everything up doesn't make you resilient. It only delays your healing. And one day that bottle breaks, no matter how long you've been holding it inside. And I know this because I've lived it. Moments where my chest felt like it was caving in. Moments where the weight of life, of regrets, of heartbreak, of fear, guilt felt unbearable. Moments where I smiled, I laughed, I acted like everything was fine, and inside I was collapsing. I was going through it. I thought if I showed weakness, the world would see me as broken. I thought if I cried, I'd lose control. I thought if I admitted the truth of how I felt, I'd let I'll be letting life win. But that's the trap, because emotions don't care about your schedule. They don't. They don't wait for that right moment to come out. They don't care if you're busy or distracted. They show up anyways. And if you ignore them for too long, they grow louder, heavier, and sharper. They start affecting everything: your relationships, your confidence, your happiness, your health. And listen, God didn't create us to carry all this alone. He didn't make emotions to punish us or to make life unbearable. He gave them to us so we can process it, so we could learn, so we could connect with ourselves and with the world around us. He made pain a teacher, not a jailer. He made grief as a doorway, not a dead end. And sometimes the only way to pass through that door is to finally release what you've been holding inside. Because listen, You cannot grow in chains. You cannot heal with your hands tied. You cannot move forward when you're still holding on to yesterday's regrets, heartbreaks, and disappointments. And let me tell you something real. It's okay to be tired. And listen, this is something I wish I heard when I was going through it. It's okay to be overwhelmed. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to cry. And that's the important thing. It's okay to cry. It's okay to sit with your feelings instead of pretending they don't exist. And it's okay to break down, because feeling deeply is not a weakness. Feeling deeply is a sign that you're alive. It's a sign that your heart still has room to heal, to forgive, to love again, to grow again. And mostly it's proof that you're human. And here's the thing that and here's the thing. The longer you pretend you're okay, the heavier it gets. The longer you hide your feelings, the more trapped you feel. The longer you ignore the storm inside you, the harder it is when it finally breaks, or the harder it hits when it finally breaks. Because, again, no matter how much life you try to live, you cannot hide from the way you feel. So, look, some advice that I wish I heard again. Stop pretending. Stop acting like everything is fine. Stop being afraid to admit the truth of what's going on inside of you. Just let it all out. Let out the sadness, the anger, the guilt, the fear, the heartbreak, the love you're too afraid to admit, the confusion, the regret. Just let it all out. Because when you do, something beautiful happens. That weight lifts. Your chest opens, your mind clears, and that's the first real step towards healing. Or that's when the real healing begins. You can still rebuild after this. You can grow after this. You can forgive. You can love again after this. But you cannot do it if you never allow yourself to feel. You cannot do it if you never let yourself be human. So, listen, or hear me out. You're allowed to break down. You are allowed to cry. You're allowed to be honest with yourself. You're allowed to release that pain you've been holding on to. And when you finally let it all out, you realize you were never weak. You were never broken. You were just human. And that's humanity, that's honesty, that's release. That's where real strength come from. So I want you to start today. Let it all out. Not for anyone else, not because I told you to do so, or not because someone else told you to do so, not because it's trendy or inspirational. Do it for yourself. Do it for your heart. Do it for your own peace, for your own growth, for your own soul. Just let it all out and start living again. Because again, no matter how much life you try to live, you cannot hide from the way you feel. So start letting it all out. Start feeling your feelings. Start listening to your heart. Start listening to your mind, and actually allow yourself to feel sadness, to feel grief, to feel heartbreak, to cry. I know as men we're taught not to cry because boys don't cry, but no, cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to let it all out. It's okay to feel emotions. That's what makes us human. That's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to hold it all in. And take this as advice from someone who has held it in for so long that I forgot who I am. I forgot how I really felt. And you don't want to go down that hole. You don't want to go down that spiral where you don't even know what's happiness or what's sadness anymore. Trust me. Just let it all out. Let go. Start feeling. Because when you truly let go and you truly let it all out, that's when life becomes life again. That's when life starts lifing again. Type shit. But yeah, don't forget, stay real.